The mining moon was cold and silent. Evan Cross sat alone in the repair bay, drinking hot synth coffee and checking power lines. It was just another long, boring night on Outpost Theta-9. Suddenly, the silence broke. Boom! The ground shook. Something had crashed into the icy valley just outside the dome. Evan stood up fast, spilling his drink. He grabbed his jacket, flashlight, and scanner, then rushed outside. Wind hit his face. The sky above was black, stars twinkling like frozen diamonds. He followed the smoke trail down the slope. After a few minutes, he saw it a small escape pod, half buried in the snow, metal cracked, steam rising. The hatch was broken open. Evan moved closer, heart beating fast. Was someone inside? He knelt and looked. Yes. Inside the pod, curled up and shaking, was something. Not human. She was small, maybe 4 feet tall, with soft gray fur, long ears, a tail, and glowing yellow eyes. She looked like a cat girl, but more alien. Her body was scratched, and her breathing was weak. "Hey," Evan whispered. "Can you hear me?" The girl didn't answer. Her eyes opened slowly, and then she bit him. "Ah!" Evan shouted and pulled back. Blood dripped from his finger. She hissed, sharp teeth showing. Then she passed out again. Evan stared at her, confused and stunned. What just happened? He looked down at her small body, shaking from the cold. He didn't understand what she was or why she was here, but he couldn't leave her. "Damn it," he said. "All right. You're coming with me." He wrapped her in a thermal blanket and carried her carefully back up to the dome. Inside the dome, Evan placed her on a padded bench. He cleaned the bite on his hand and stared at her, still unconscious. Her ears twitched. Her tail curled slightly. He scanned her with his med tool. Strange readings. DNA structure was complex, part mammal, part unknown. She wasn't in danger, but she needed rest. Evan sat near her, wondering what to do. No signal was getting out. The storm above was blocking comms. He was alone with her. He watched her sleep, unsure if she was a threat or just scared. The next morning, Evan woke up in his chair and jumped. She was standing just 2 inches from his face, staring at him with wide eyes. "Whoa," Evan said. She tilted her head. Her ears twitched. "Okay," he said slowly. "You're awake. That's good." He took a step back. She followed. He stepped to the left. She followed again. "You're really going to do this, huh?" he asked. The alien girl didn't answer. She just followed him wherever he moved, like a shadow. When Evan opened the storage room, she followed. When he went to the washroom, she waited outside. When he picked up a snack bar, she stared until he gave her one. She bit it, made a face, then licked it slowly. "Great," Evan muttered. "Bit my finger. Now eating my food. What next?" He tried to ignore her, but it was impossible. She kept watching him. She didn't talk. She didn't smile. She just followed. Even when he sat down to fix the power unit, she crouched nearby like a silent guard. Evan sighed. "Okay, I can't call you. Hey, you forever." He looked at her. "How about Naira?" he asked. The girl blinked, then blinked again. "No? Well, I'm calling you Naira anyway." She didn't seem to mind. That night, Evan locked his door just in case. He was still unsure if she was dangerous. He lay in bed, trying to sleep. Suddenly, the bed dipped. Evan's eyes opened. Naira was lying on his chest, curled up like a cat. Her eyes were half closed, her claws gently gripping his shirt. "What the?" She looked up at him. Her yellow eyes glowed softly. Then she whispered, in a voice barely audible, "Mine." Evan froze. "What did you say?" "Mine," she repeated, and pressed her cheek against his chest. He felt something strange. His finger, the one she bit, was warm, glowing slightly. Then he looked at her arm. A small symbol was glowing there too. The same color, the same shape, linked, marked, bonded. What the hell did I just bring home? Evan whispered. Outside. The dome, the stars shimmered. But inside, the real story was just beginning. Evan didn't sleep much that night. Naira lay on his chest like she owned him. Her small claws held his shirt, and her furry tail gently wrapped around his arm. He didn't dare move. Even when he tried to shift, she growled softly and pressed closer. By morning, she was still there watching him with golden eyes. Morning, Evan said, voice dry. Naira tilted her head. You gonna bite me again today? No answer. Just a soft blink. Evan slowly sat up. Naira let him go, but followed as soon as his feet hit the floor. She didn't walk like a human. Her movements were fast, low, and animal-like, quiet, careful, always close, always alert. Evan made coffee. She sniffed it, hissed. Double quotes. Yeah, not for you. He handed her a piece of fruit. She took it with her claws, studied it, sniffed it again, then ate it slowly, like it was strange, but safe. As Evan chewed on a ration bar, he kept watching her. There was something wild in her eyes, like a hunter, but also something broken, lost. He tried to speak gently. You understand me? Naira blinked once. Do you have a ship? A name? Family? Nothing. Then she whispered, Naira. Evan's eyes widened. You said your name? Naira nodded slowly, then whispered again, Naira. Evan. He paused. You know my name too? She pointed at his chest. Mine. Okay, let's not start that again. As the day passed, Evan tried to focus on repairs. The dome's solar panels were acting up again. Power was low. He needed to fix them before nightfall. He walked outside. Naira followed. The icy wind howled. Evan grabbed his toolkit and walked to the panel tower. It took about 15 minutes to climb and realign the main node. When he turned back, Naira was gone. Naira? No answer. Naira, where are you? His voice echoed across the frozen valley, then a sharp growl behind him. Evan spun around fast. Nyra had leapt from the shadow's teeth bared, claws out aiming for something near him. He looked down. A mechanical crawler had snuck up on his blind side. A scavenger bot gone rogue. Its drill arm was spinning. Naira pounced on it, tearing through wires and joints like paper. Sparks flew. The crawler screamed its metallic warning and shut down. Stood on top of it, panting, fur bristling, eyes glowing. Evan stared. You saved me. She looked back at him, breathing hard. Then stepped down, limping slightly. You're hurt. He knelt and gently touched her leg. A small cut. Not deep, but bleeding. Come on, let me help. Back inside the dome, Evan patched her up. She sat still the whole time, eyes watching. His face, not moving, not speaking. When he finished, she whispered, You protect me. I protect you. Evan smiled slightly. Deal. Naira nodded. But later, when Evan checked the med scanner again, something strange popped up. He scanned her DNA one more time, then scanned himself. 2 glowing symbols appeared on the screen matching. He tapped the console. What is this? It showed Life Bond Signature Detected Warning. Cultural mating link active. His heart stopped. Mating? Oh, no. This is a mistake. He turned to Naira. What did that bite mean? Naira looked serious now. You mine. I protect. You stay. I'm not a pet, Evan muttered. And neither are you. Naira blinked. Not pet, mate. Evan stood up, hands in the air. Okay, let's slow down. But deep inside, Something warm moved in his chest. It wasn't fear. It wasn't confusion, Dot. It was connection. She had risked her life for him. She trusted only him. She barely spoke, but she remembered his name. Later that night, Evan tried to send a signal to the nearest station, but the system was jammed. Static. No return ping. Blocked. What the hell? He ran diagnostics. Something or someone was jamming the signal from orbit. Naira walked up behind him and said only one word. Hunters. Evan turned slowly. What? Naira looked down. They follow. I escape. They find me again. She showed a small scar behind her neck, then pointed at the escape pod. Experiment, property, weapon. Evan froze. You're not just some random alien, are you? She shook her head. Someone made you? Naira whispered. But I chose you. Outside, the stars began to shift. A shadow passed over the moon's surface, unseen but coming. And Naira was no longer just a strange girl who bit his finger. She was something far more dangerous and far more important. And she had chosen him. Evan stared at the screen, trying to understand the message. Life bond signature. Active status. Claimed human subject. Evan cross-linked partner. Subject Naira, genetically modified feline hybrid. He rubbed his face. This has to be wrong. Naira stood beside him, arms crossed, tail twitching slowly. You don't believe? She asked quietly. I believe. Something happened, he said. But this is big. Bonding? Mating? This isn't how humans do things. Naira lowered her eyes. You fix me. You feed me. You safe. Evan sighed. Yeah, but that's called helping, not claiming. Naira took his hand and placed it on the glowing mark on her wrist. You are not pet. You are mine. I am yours. There was no joke in her voice. No lie in her eyes. She meant it. The rest of the day was tense. Evan tried to focus on repairs. The solar batteries were still running low. The comms were completely blocked. Someone really didn't want him to call for help. Naira followed him again, silent and watchful. But something was different now. She didn't just follow, she guarded. She would check corners. Before he entered rooms, she would tap the floor with her claws and sniff the air, scanning for anything out of place. Evan tried to act like everything was normal, but the feeling in his chest wouldn't go away. She trusted him. She had bonded with him. And somehow, he didn't hate it. Later, Evan walked into the storage bay to check for backup power cores. Behind a pile of crates, Naira was crouched holding something strange. What's that? Evan asked. She jumped up quickly and held it out to him with both hands. A small, glowing energy crystal, pulsing with soft blue light. Evan's eyes widened. Where did you get that? Gift, she said softly. For you. This is a core stabilizer. This could power the dome for a week. She smiled, showing sharp little fangs. Good? Yeah, Evan said. It's good. It's amazing. She purred quietly, soft and deep. Evan had never heard anything like it. That night, Evan set up the stabilizer and finally got some heat back online. The dome lights brightened, and the air felt a little less sharp. Naira sat beside the main window, looking out at the stars. Evan brought her a blanket and sat next to her. You said someone made you. Who? Naira didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, people in white, cold rooms, pain. She touched the back of her neck. They made me fast, strong, alone. And you escaped? She nodded. Escape pod? It broke, fell here. Evan looked at her scarred hands. You've been through a lot. She turned to him slowly. But now, not alone. He didn't reply. He just nodded. Suddenly, the warning alarm blinked red. Evan jumped up and rushed to the control panel. Movement detected. 3 kilometers east. No transponder. No ID. He tapped buttons quickly. Could be miners or mercs. Naira stood behind him, fur rising, her claws extended. Hunters, she said in a low growl. They find me. Evan turned to her. If they're coming, we can't just hide. We need a plan. Naira looked into his eyes. I fight. No, Evan said. You already fought your whole life. Let me help now. She hesitated. Then slowly nodded. Evan spent the next hour setting traps. He used EMP charges, old drone parts, even power coils from broken bots. Naira helped fast and skilled. She didn't speak much, but she understood everything. Together, they set up a line of defense around the dome. At one point, Naira turned to him. Why you help me? Evan didn't answer right away. Then he said, because someone should have, a long time ago. She looked down. And now? He looked at the glowing marks on both their hands. Now you're not just a guest, he said. You're family. Naira's eyes shimmered. She touched his hand. I protect family. As darkness fell, Evan and Naira stood together, watching the valley below. Snow began to fall again, quiet and soft. But the sky above was not quiet. A ship moved in the clouds. Hidden. Watching. Waiting. Evan tightened his jacket. They're coming soon, Naira growled low. Let them come. Evan looked at her and smiled. Just try not to bite me again, all right? Naira smiled back. No promise. They stood side by side, ready for what was next. The dome was no longer just a workplace. It was home. And Naira was no longer just a crash survivor. She was his bond, his shield, his unexpected fire. Snow fell softly outside the dome. The world looked quiet, but Evan knew danger was near. Inside, he checked the scanners again. Still no ID. Still no comms. Just a faint, moving signal closer now. 2 kilometers away. They're not stopping, he said. Nyra crouched by the window, eyes glowing in the dark. Her claws twitched. Her ears were raised. They will not stop, she said. Not until they take me back. Evan looked at her. Tell me the truth. Who are they? Naira hesitated. Then she stood up and walked toward him. Her tail hung low. Her voice was calm but cold. They are the ones who made me. The ones who broke others like me. She lifted her shirt slightly and showed the mark near her ribs. A tattoo. Small, dark, T47. Hybrid unit. Property of Vonax LB-S7 felt sick. Your property? I was, she said. No more. He sat down, trying to process it. Vernax Labs. He'd heard rumors illegal gene labs working outside council law. Creating weapons, soldiers, slaves. Why you? He asked. Why? Chase you so far? Naira looked away. I am the last one. Others died. Escaped and killed. I was fastest, smartest, most stable. She looked back at him. I am what they want. They do not care who I hurt, or who they kill to take me. Evan stood slowly. They'll have to go through me first. Naira blinked. You would fight for me? I already am, Evan said. You're not a thing. You're not a weapon. You're not alone. She whispered, You're my human. He smiled. And you're my wild little cat girl. Suddenly alarm blared. Perimeter trap 3 triggered. They both rushed to the monitor. Figure stepped into view on the outer camera. Tall. Armored. Black cloak. Helmet shaped like a hawk. Shoulder cannon on one side. A long curved blade on the other. Naira growled. Tracker? One of them? Evan asked. She nodded. They're best. The tracker moved slowly, scanning with a wrist device. Then he raised his hand and shot the camera. Static Doppel quotes, "He knows we're here," Evan said. "And he's not wasting time." Evan grabbed the EMP detonator. "If he gets inside, we're done." Naira held his arm. "I fight. You run." "No," Evan said firmly. "We stay together." "But no, together." Her eyes locked with his. She gave a slow, silent nod. They moved fast. NYRA took the high catwalk near the roof. Vents. Evan hid behind the blast shields by the main entrance. Outside, wind howled. The tracker walked toward the dome like a machine. No fear, no rush. Just cold confidence. He reached the outer door. Paused. Then tore it open with his clawed gauntlet. Metal screamed. Naira was above him now, hidden in shadows. Evan waited, sweating. The tracker stepped inside. Clicked. EMP trap fired. Sparks exploded. Lights flickered. His armor jolted, but didn't stop. "He's shielded," Evan shouted. The tracker raised his blade, and Naira dropped from above. Hit him like a meteor, claws slashing, fangs bared. He roared, stumbling back as sparks flew from his chest plate. They rolled across the floor. He swung his blade. Missed. She kicked him into a wall, but then he grabbed her throat and slammed her down. Evan couldn't wait. He ran in, swung a wrench, and hit the tracker's arm. It barely moved him, but it was enough. Naira twisted out and jumped away. The tracker turned to Evan. "You," he said through a cracked speaker. "Human interference detected. You will not survive." "Yeah," Evan said. "You first." He hit the emergency vent release. Gas flooded the hallway. The tracker coughed. Blinded. NYRA leapt from the smoke, spinning in mid-air, and drove her claws into his visor. Crack. The mask broke. He screamed, real pain now. Naira landed beside Evan. "Go!" "Now!" They ran down the hall, lights flickering above. They reached the inner room. Evan slammed the door shut and sealed it. They both stood, breathing hard. Naira had blood on her lip, not hers. Evan looked at her. "That was insane," she grinned. He was slow. He laughed, even in fear. But then his face turned serious. "There will be more." "Yes," Naira said. "And worse." He stared at the bond symbol on his hand. "Then we need a real escape plan." Naira touched the same symbol on her arm. "I will follow you," she said softly. "Wherever." Evan placed his hand over hers. "Then we run together." Far above the moon, a black ship shimmered into view. More were coming. But now, Evan and Naira were no longer running. They were planning together. And the galaxy had no idea what it was about to face. The power inside the dome flickered. Evan worked fast, fingers tapping the console, rerouting power through the backup core. Every system had to work now, every trap, every escape protocol, every signal boost. Naira stood behind him, tail low, body tense. She was hurt but quiet. "Tracker's gone," Evan said, "but others are coming." "That ship above us? It's big. Bigger than anything I've seen this close to a restricted zone." Naira nodded. "That is their hunter ship. Black Sun. It carries 10 more like him. Worse. Great," Evan muttered. 10 more. He took a deep breath and looked at the map on his screen. "There's only one way out. Through the ice tunnels in the valley. They're old mining shafts. I can overload the dome's core to create a decoy heat signal, trick their scans." Naira touched his shoulder gently. "You are smart, clever." He glanced back. "And you're scary." She smirked, ears twitching. "I'll take that as a compliment," Evan said. Over the next 3 hours, they worked like a team. Evan rigged explosives to the old fusion core. It would blow only after they were gone. Enough to confuse the hunters and block their approach. Naira packed gear, food, and power cells. She also found 2 pulse pistols, small but useful. You ever fire one of these? Evan asked. Naira tilted her head. Claws better. But I learn. He smiled. You're learning a lot. She looked at him seriously. I watch you. Copy you. Evan raised a brow. What else have you copied? Naira walked over and placed one of his jackets around her shoulders. Too big, but she wrapped it tight. Warm, she said. Smells like home. Evan paused. A strange warmth filled his chest again. Dot, not fear, not worry, just something right, Dot, as the final hour approached. Evan sat down to send one last message. He boosted the signal with the new crystal core. To any human station within range, this is Evan Cross of Theta 9. I am not alone. I am with a bonded hybrid. Subject named Naira. Vernax Labs is active again. They've sent hunters. Please, send help. He hit send. Then he looked at Naira. It might not reach anyone, but we had to try. She nodded Dot, then walked forward and knelt in front of him. Before we go, I give you this. She took something from her small side pouch. A silver neck ring, small, old, engraved with her people's ancient symbols. She pressed it into his hand. Bond mark, you wear. You are seen as claimed. Evan raised an eyebrow. Won't that make things worse? Not to my kind, she said. To them. It means protection, power. He slowly slid it around his neck. It fit perfectly. Then he looked at her. You sure you want to run with me? Naira stepped closer. You saved me. You fought for me. You're mine. He touched her cheek gently. Then let's get out of here, my little wild thing. They moved through the lower tunnels, Evan with a light pack, Naira with her silent steps and sharp ears. The cold was worse here, Dot. The wind howled like a beast, Dot, but they kept moving. One step at a time, Dot. Suddenly Naira stopped. She sniffed the air, Dot. Evan paused. What is it? She whispered. One of them. Ahead, waiting. Only one? She nodded. Dot. Evan thought quickly. If I go left and draw his attention, can you flank him? Naira bared her fangs. I will be fast. He nodded and moved down the left shaft. His boots crunched the ice. A shape appeared ahead, tall, armored, motionless. The hunter turned, raised a blaster. Dot. Just before it fired, Naira dropped from above, got her claws, tore into the enemy's helmet. Dot. Sparks. Dot. Screams. Dot. The blaster fired, dash missed. Dot. Evan hit the wall, control dropping. A heavy gate. Dot. Trap closed. Dot. The hunter inside fell you. An moving. Dot. Nyra crawled out, panting. Dot. Evan rushed to her. You okay? She smiled, blood on her lip. One less. He helped her up. We're close now. The tunnels lead out into the open glacier. Then where? She asked. Dot. He pointed up. Signal tower. Near the cliffs. If we reach it, and if my message went through, someone might come. She nodded. Dot. Double quotes. And if no one comes? She asked. Then, Evan said with a grin, we steal one of their ships. Naira purred softly. That I like. As they stepped out of the tunnel into the icy night, the wind slammed into them hard. Dot. Far above, the hunter ship hovered, silent and dark, scanning the land. Dot. Nyra looked up, then took Evan's hand. No matter what happens, she said, you are mine. I stay. Evan squeezed her hand. Then we run, fight, and survive. Together. And with that, they began to run toward the tower. 2 small figures. One human. One, not Dot, but both free. Together. Ready for war. The snowstorm grew stronger as Evan and Naira ran toward the cliffs. The signal tower stood high above them. A thin, black spike reaching into the dark sky. They were almost there. The ice cracked beneath their boots. The wind screamed like a warning. Behind them, a sound cut through the storm engines. A small dropship from the hunter vessel landed on the ice, its lights blinding, its doors opening. 3 hunters stepped out, heavy armor, masks, weapons glowing. Red Dot Evan grabbed Naira's arm. "We have to move." Naira didn't move. She stared ahead, breathing hard, her claws extended slowly. "They follow." "Always follow," she said. "They want to take you back," Evan replied. "But we're not going to let that happen." She looked at him. "No more running." Before he could stop her, Naira charged. She moved like lightning over ice fast. Low, wild dot, the hunters aimed their blasters. Too slow. .NYRA leaped into the air and slammed into the first one, claws ripping across his chest. Sparks flew as he crashed. Backward, armor torn. The second one fired Naira, rolled to the side, jumped, and kicked the weapon from his hand. It slid across the ice. Evan shouted, "Naira, behind you!" The third hunter swung a blade at her dot, caught her shoulder blade, sprayed, but she didn't fall. She roared, not like an animal, not like a girl, something deeper, something primal. Her body began to glow. The bond symbol on her arm shimmered with blue light. Her fur darkened. Her claws extended further. Her muscles tensed, and then she moved even faster. She dodged the blade, grabbed the third hunter, and threw him across the ice like he weighed nothing. Evan watched in shock. "Naira, what are you?" She turned to him, breathing hard, blood dripping from her arms. "I was made to destroy," she whispered. "But I choose to protect." 2 hunters got back up. They circled her carefully now. Naira growled, body shaking from the wound on her shoulder. Evan couldn't just watch. He grabbed the pulse, pistol, and fired. One of the hunters took the shot too. The leg fell. The other turned to face Evan. Big mistake. Naira used the moment to strike. She pounced, drove both claws into his chest plate, and dragged him down. Metal cracked under her scream. The ice under them shattered. They both fell into the pit below. "Naira!" Evan shouted. He ran to the edge. A few seconds passed. Then dash movement. She climbed out slowly, limping, covered in bruises and blood. Evan pulled her the rest of the way. "You're hurt bad." She looked up at him, still alive. He laughed, through tears. Barely. She rested her head on his shoulder. "Still yours." Evan helped her to the signal tower. He patched the power line with one of the salvaged cores. "Just stay awake, okay?" he said, hands shaking. NYRA leaned against the steel wall, watching him. "You fix things," she whispered. "Yeah, that's what I do. You fix me too." He stopped, looked at her. "I didn't fix you," he said softly. "You made the choice to be better. You fought for it." She smiled, eyes closing. "With you." The tower blinked. Signal. CNT destination. Earth command. Message. Emergency. Hybrid subject needs protection. Human under attack. Send help. They collapsed beside each other under the blinking tower light. Snow fell gently. Now. Quiet. Soft. Evan held her close. "You did it." She didn't answer, but she was still breathing, still warm. And still his. Far above. Lights moved in the sky. More ships. More eyes. But now, for the first time, someone else was listening, and help was coming. The night was still burning. Smoke rose from the shattered ice fields near the signal tower. The battle had ended, but the world around them still trembled from what had happened. Naira stood barefoot in the snow, blood dripping from her claws. Her eyes glowed silver under the starlight. Behind her, Evan knelt near the frozen ground, coughing, wounded but alive. They had done it. They had destroyed the last hunter. Evan looked up at her. That was insane. Naira turned. Her face was soft now. No more growl. No more fire. Only silence. I lost control, she whispered. You saw. You saved me, Evan said. I almost lost myself. He stood, holding his side. You're not a monster. You're not what they made you. You're what you chose to be. Naira looked away. I chose you. He stepped closer. And I chose you too. She stared at him for a long time. Then her ears twitched. A sound, a light in the sky. A ship, high above. A human rescue vessel dropped through the clouds. The blue beacon Evan sent had reached someone. His message, buried in static and hope, had called help from deep space. As the ship lowered, it scanned for life signs. A calm voice echoed from above. Signal confirmed. 2 signatures located. Stand by for landing. Evan laughed, weak and shaking. Finally, Ira crouched low. More hunters? No, Evan said. This time it's family. The human ship touched down. A small team exited, soldiers in clean white armor, medics with scanners. They pointed weapons first, unsure of what they were looking at. Then they saw Evan's bloody clothes, his bruises, his tired smile, and Naira standing between him and the soldiers, claws out, tail raised, ready to defend him again. The lead officer raised his hands. Easy, we're here to help, Naira hissed. You touch him, you die. Evan stepped forward. She's with me. She saved me. She's not the threat. The soldiers lowered their weapons. The medic approached slowly. You both need medical care. Especially her, she's bleeding. Naira looked at Evan. Safe? He nodded. Yes, we're safe now. Only then did she collapse. Hours passed. Inside the ship's medical bay, Naira lay on a soft table, wrapped in warm blankets. She was weak, but stable. Evan sat beside her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. The lead officer entered. She's a hybrid. Her genetic data matches illegal experiments linked to Vernak's labs. I know, Evan said. She's dangerous. She's alive. The officer hesitated. What do you want us to do with her? Evan looked down at Naira, who was now watching him silently with glowing eyes. She's not going back in a cage. Not while I'm alive. She's bonded to you, isn't she? The officer asked. Evan nodded. Yeah, and I'm bonded to her. The next day, Earth Command sent a message to the ship. The story had already spread. A lone human on a forgotten moon. A feral alien girl made in a lab. Hunters, blood. A signal sent into the stars, and a bond that could not be broken. Earth made. Its decision. Naira would be protected not as a weapon, not as an experiment, but as an individual. Weeks later, Evan stood on the balcony of a station above Earth, watching the sun rise over blue oceans. He felt her before he saw her. Naira stepped beside him, wearing a simple cloak. Her tail wrapped around his leg. Too bright, she muttered. Welcome to Earth, Evan said. She looked down. So much green, so much noise. You'll get used to it. Will you stay? She asked quietly. He looked at her, then took her hand. I go where you go. Naira leaned her head against his shoulder. I have no people, no home, but now I have you. Evan smiled. And I have the wildest, weirdest, most stubborn partner in the galaxy. She smirked. And now you are mine, forever. He laughed. Yeah, I guess I am. They stood together, looking down at the world below. 2 lives, 2 pasts. One bond, one future. And for the first time in her life, Naira wasn't hiding. She wasn't hunted. She was free, and she had a home. His name was Evan.